Yo, this hot, this the spot, there it is, pod.com. We're interviewing the best comedians, so tune in quick and get your ears receiving them. We talking about life and life to stream right to you, from the microphone right to your home, dude. Side note, this might get embarrassing, but no, don't sweat, yo, cause there it is.
Welcome to the There It Is podcast, a comedy podcast to help you find your inspiration. I'm your host, Jason Farr. Let's do this. Thanks so much for joining us. We have a great episode today. It is with our good pal, Tina Detchon, who we met at the Magnet Theater. She is awesome. She talks about filmmaking, and that includes Pillow Talk, which is a short film she made that I also have a small role in. And we also talk about improv and working out in Los Angeles and tons of stuff. It's a great chat. Why don't we just get right to it? Here's my chat with Tina Detchon.
Tina, it's so great to see you. I haven't seen you in a while.
That's true. I've not seen you in a while. It's good to see you too.
Yeah, it's been, well, let's see. Maybe the last time I saw you was at the Pillow Talk premiere. Is that the last time we've seen each other?
I feel like I've seen you at Magnet, but maybe I haven't seen you at the theater
Maybe
for
not.
a while.
Maybe not. It's always a joy to see you because you're always just like real, I don't know, happy and nice. I think I remember one time on the street I was walking along and saw you and you were like, hey, just paused and just gave you a big smile, and it just like brightened my day.
It confuses me when people like don't acknowledge each other in public. Like I literally just saw a guy that I know from Frisbee and he like glazed over. Some people are in their own worlds, I think.
Oh,
but
I am for sure.
I'm always like scanning to be like, are any of my friends here? So he like didn't look up and he didn't say hi, and I was like, okay, that's where he's at today. I'm not gonna break the barrier he's kind of silently putting up. So
that is kind of a fear of mine, that I'm walking down the street and accidentally ignoring people. I've never like intentionally ignored someone I knew. Like,
yeah. Oh, I have.
well, I guess I did once, but that was because the person's partner was being a complete ass on the train. And they were sitting across from me, and I was like, I am so embarrassed.
You were straight across from them and you pretend like you didn't see them?
Yeah, because the guy was being obnoxious, loud, drunk, making jokes about everyone who got on the train. A homeless person got on the train and he started being like, oh, this guy, what's his spiel gonna be? And just like mocking. And I was like, gross. Like, I'm not gonna say anything to them, and I hope they don't see me.
Wait, do you still know this person? Are they still with that person?
Yeah, they are still together. Yeah.
Yikes.
I was just like, yikes. I don't embarrass easily. And for some reason, I felt intense embarrassment in that situation. So that's the only time I really remember ignoring somebody, because I was like, I don't want to talk to this person. But I don't remember doing that with anybody else.
I feel like I will ignore people who are like semi-acquaintances. And it depends on the situation. Like if I'm on the train and I'm like heading into a 45-minute sit down of going into the city, and I see somebody and I know they're probably also going to sit there for 45 minutes, I'm like, I don't think I have capacity right now to have a small talk conversation with this person
for 45
that I
minutes.
know. Yeah. And just like I can get probably 5 minutes with them, and then I'll be like, I'm gonna put my headphones in now, and I hope that's not awkward. And I'm like, I don't want that conversation. Like,
yeah. But that's just proper train etiquette.
Yes.
It's just to be like, I'm gonna mind my own business, because people have their plan when they get on the train. It's I'm gonna do Sudoku, or I'm gonna listen to a podcast, or just sit here and not be bothered for 45 minutes.
I think when I first moved here, I like didn't understand that etiquette. And then because it's like, it's so exciting to get into a subway and see someone you know. Sometimes I feel like most of the time I will like immediately talk to that person.
Yeah.
It's just like that level of how much I know them. Like, do I have 45 minutes of chat in me? Or is should this be just like a passing, hey, what's up? And so sometimes I'll like time it and then say, hey, what's up? Like right as I leave, or like for one stop,
Yeah. Yeah. Or if it's getting on the train, I'll be like, hey, and then I'll get another car on the train.
Yes. Yeah.
That's just proper train etiquette.
Wait, you will get off. Like you'll say
No,
hi
I
to
don't
this.
mean that. I mean like if like the F train arrives and I see someone as I like get onto the platform, like, oh, I know them. We're both
Oh,
getting
on the
on the F
platform.
train, then I'll say hey to them. And then if it's that sort of situation of like, we don't know each other super well, I don't want them to feel like they now have to have a long conversation that they weren't planning on having, then I'll get on the other car that they are getting
Yeah.
on. So we are
Yeah.
separated by cars.
Yeah. There should be just sort of like a little meter in all of us, like that shows if we're cool to talk or like if we'd be down for that or if it's like, please don't. Like there should just be like little signs that pop up on our bodies.
I mean, to me, it's in body language.
Some people
But
are
maybe
really
that's
tough.
just my neuroses of
Yeah, I feel like sometimes
assuming.
people are like, no, I was like so happy to talk. And I'm like, are you lying now? Like, I don't know.
This
Yeah.
person doesn't like me as much as I like them, so I won't talk to them. The thing is, I assume I like people more than they like me. That's my assumption.
I usually assume that as well. I'm usually like very excited and like puppy energy about people. And there's a lot of black cats out there. We're like, "Ree," or just
We both
general
have
cat.
puppy energy. Yeah, I think we both are puppies.
Yeah, for sure. I
Christina
think,
says I'm a golden retriever.
yeah, for sure. I was trying to figure out because I don't think I'm a full golden retriever, but I was like talking to a friend. I was like, what breed of dog do you think I am? And they were like English setter or like I was like a work dog, and I was like, I think maybe those dogs can be really anxious though. But I feel
Yeah,
like
you don't have an
oh,
anxious vibe. You have a very confident vibe.
I decided it was like
Oh, yeah,
a
okay.
Labrador. Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
energy I had, where I was like down to play, down to have fun, but also if you guys want to work, I'm down to work. Like love
That
helping people out.
I very much see that. That is accurate because
Yeah.
you have done so much. You've worked on so many different things over the years. And I know you're from Connecticut, but you spent most of your life out west where you
Hmm.
studied at the Groundlings in LA.
Yeah, well, yeah. That's funny. I feel like I literally spent like 3 years there. Spent
Yeah.
more time on the East Coast now than I have on the West Coast, but I
Oh,
felt
that's true.
so West Coast based.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I moved to LA like the moment I finished college.
Hmm.
And yeah, I had a bunch of friends from Syracuse who moved out there. First job was the real world.
Oh,
Got to
wow.
work as a logger when they didn't have like transcription stuff. They would
Yeah.
just have humans writing what was happening. And yeah, I was like an editor as well for them. And then I worked a ton of different jobs in LA, like HBO shows. It was so fun. It was like also a great time to be in the film industry.
Yeah.
And then I worked on commercials. Like that's actually how I found the magnet is that I was working on an Orbitz gum commercial
Yeah.
and Ed Herbstman was the main actor.
I was trying to guess which person it was. Like, was it Peter? But Ed
Yeah.
is a good option. Yeah.
Yeah, because this was like 15 years ago. Because I don't know if Peter was like really doing as much commercial. Maybe he was. But yeah, so he had this, it was a crazy commercial where he's like a husband who is had like a crazy party, and part of the party I remember he was dunking for apples, but instead he pulled this like thong out of this hot tub, and it was this like raggedy dude's thong actually. And it was like, oh, it's like clean it up, dirty mouth, clean it up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like right about to move to France actually to go be a teacher. And we were chatting a bunch, and he told me about IO.
Mhm.
And I then did a lot of traveling around the world, teaching and et cetera, and came back around living in New York. And I was an intern at Magnet because it's always too expensive. All those classes
Yeah.
are always so fun, but so expensive. So I was an intern so I could get free classes, and I was Windexing the front windows, and I like noticed the photos in the front, and I was like, wait, I know that guy's face. How do I know that guy's face? And it's the one of him with Jason
Mantzoukas. Yeah.
Mantzoukas.
Yeah.
And
Because they
I
have
was
the
like, oh my,
Mantzoukas brothers show that they do. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. And I was like, oh, wait, who is this guy? And they were like, that's the owner. I was like, what? And so I found him on Facebook and I was like, this is crazy, but I now go to like the school that you founded. And it was a very funny around the world and back again.
That really is. That is.
Yeah.
But you had started improv in LA at the Groundlings?
Yeah, I think I took one 101 class where they just said the basics of like don't ask questions. I don't remember the other things. It was like very fun and also very scary, and I was not very good. And then I randomly took I somehow accidentally got into a crazy high level musical improv that was with people who are literally on Broadway now. I've like seen
Wow.
some of them perform. I'm like, okay. I used to cry in my car for 3 hours before going into that class and be like, you've got to do it. You've got to do it.
Wow.
It was way too challenging. I'm sure the magnet one is way better, but I'm still so scarred from it that I've been too scared to take a class.
Yeah.
But Groundlings was super fun. I definitely would go to their shows, and I saw a lot of theater in LA actually. I feel like I've watched more theater there. When I moved back there at some point, I also watched a lot of clown theater.
Hmm.
That's like what Natalie Palamides and like that whole crew of clowns who are really like
Yeah.
popping off now.
Yeah.
They do so many fun shows there. And yeah, so I took only a few classes out there because honestly, I was working
Yeah.
12-hour days, which in LA means 14-hour days because you have to drive for an hour each way.
Oh,
And
right. There's so much driving in LA.
yeah,
When we visited brother of the show, Trey, I was like, this sounds cool, but I am over driving. And I'm from the
yeah,
South. Like we drive in the South, but you don't drive in South Carolina like you drive in LA.
yeah. It was days and days and like I just spent my whole life in my car. And I had
Yeah.
a stick shift car too because it was the
Ooh.
cheaper version.
Yeah.
And so I liked it because I just got a lot of like alone time and I would just like play around with characters by myself. I made a whole like 5 minute stand-up set based on that
Uh-huh.
time that I had. And I would just call my friends and be like, is this funny?
Yeah, I mean, at a point in my life, I could see myself enjoy because when I was driving from one town to the next a lot when I first got out of college because of work, I enjoyed that because I just like put on music or playlists I made or something like that. But now I'm sort of like, get me out of this car.
Do you ever talk to yourself in the car?
I'm not really a talk to myself. I am an animated person alone. Like I will be thinking about something and
Yeah.
playing whatever thoughts I have in my head, but I'm like still demonstrative. Like it's like there's no sound coming out of my mouth, but I look
But are
like
you
I
like
am
stone
working something.
cold, like no expression? Or are you kind of
No,
like,
no. No, I'm still making expressions and I'm still using my hands, but I'm not like actually outwardly talking. It can look pretty casual. It can almost look like sometimes when I'm sitting next to my window, I'm like, if somebody sees me, I wonder if I look crazy because it's like subtle enough that it looks like I'm just sitting here thinking, but then every once in a while I do a demonstrative thing that you only do when you're talking to somebody. Or I make an expression or somewhat move my face around or mouth around like I'm talking to someone, but I'm not. So I'm like, oh, do I look crazy to people?
I love somebody who's watching you through the window like that, though. That's the crazy
That
person.
is the crazy person. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Also,
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't imagine like I guess I like if my roommates are around, I definitely won't be like out loud speaking. But the moment I know that all my roommates are gone, I am like chat, chat, chat with myself
Really?
happily.
Full
Oh yeah.
voice?
Full voice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
yeah.
All the characters. Yep. Yeah. Having interviews.
I feel like as a kid, since I wanted to be an actor when I was young, I would act things out a little bit in my room, but I wasn't saying anything out loud necessarily because my mom was around. Like I knew someone was in the house.
Hmm.
And so I didn't want to be talking to myself.
Hmm.
But I notice that how I act things out alone, I feel like there's a purity to that I've yet to tap into enough on stage. Do you feel that when you're just alone in your room playing characters, that you haven't opened up that much on stage, or have you not had that issue?
I don't know. I mean, like, first of all, when you're like talking or like expressing stuff by yourself, like you're always, I feel like I'm usually playing like big, big emotions or Or I'm like practicing playing an emotion, and like then I actually do sometimes do like a line, and then I'll be like, what if I made it less? What if I made it less? Like I am like doing my own little acting
Mm-hmm.
classes by myself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, same.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I don't or do that level of stuff. Because on stage, also for improv, like it's great when you go big.
Yeah,
And then it's fun to have like a little quick look that the audience picks up on.
absolutely. Yeah.
But you're still doing like stage acting, which is
Mhm.
gonna be campier, bigger and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You've got to use your whole body.
Yeah,
Yeah. You've
yeah.
got to on stage acting.
You got to be an actor in my film,
That's
which is
right.
pretty fun. How
That's
was that
right.
experience for you?
Well, I was very honored and flattered to be asked to be in Pillow Talk, and I loved the script. I thought it was so fun. And this was also, I will say, it's one of those times too where you read something and you think it's great, and then the product is even better. It's better than what I could envision in my mind. So people need to check out Pillow Talk because I think it's really solid. But, a lot of times it's the same as what I pictured. I can't think of another time where it was better than what I was picturing as I was reading it. And there are definitely times where it's worse than what I envisioned while reading.
I was just trying to understand what you mean by like better. So I'm like, oh, because like the editing kind of
There it
makes or
was
breaks stuff. And
I think so. I expected everyone to do good work in it, and then they did. But I thought the additional thing was the feel of it, and those like it's like some of the editing, but it's still just like shot choices that you made, and the way you tried to envision the couch coming alive, like all of that stuff, I could not have envisioned while reading it. And it's so good when you see it. It is like one of the things I was like, oh, this movie is dope. Like, this is cool. And so that's part of why it's better too. But as an actor, I will say, I was sort of like, am I doing a good job? I didn't want to look like I don't want to be the weak link in the scene. But you were great to work with, and so was the rest of the crew.
yeah, I remember you being very upset about having to play a mean guy.
Well, I wasn't upset about having to play a mean guy. I think my heart just went out to the character because I was like she's a catch. Like, it's my character for the audience. I go on a date with the main character, and the date goes poorly because my character is just not into her shenanigans. But to me, I'm like, these shenanigans are exactly why I'd find someone charming. Like, how do I tap into someone who doesn't like it? So it's like, you were like finance bro type of guy who just is too stuffy. And I was like, okay, do I have that gear? So there's a little bit of that going on. And I was like, all right, I'll try something, but I don't know if I'll be as good as I hope to be when I act in something. So
Do you feel like you don't have like everyone's got that gear though? Everyone can throw like some judgmental stares.
sure, and I do.
Yeah,
I
you do
just
great. Those great
thank
looks.
you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Disgusted looks.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, when I see when I like for me, I think I could do drama and be maybe a not nice person in a drama,
Mm.
but I feel like my angle into that would be different than what the task was for this because it was a comedy. It has its dramatic parts for sure.
They're always right next to each other.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess when I think of drama, I'm thinking of like me in a drama. The gear I know I could have is a different sort of vibe entirely than what this needed. And so
Mm.
I was like, oh, how do I be the not nice guy in this without taking it too far away from it still being like a funny scene? That was sort of the thing. I was like, okay, I've never had to do this necessarily. So how do I do this and it still feel real? So I hope I did well.
You did great. You did such a great job. Yeah, I feel like most of the time I was like directing it as a drama. And the circumstances were the comedy. And that's, I think, where a lot of the comedy happens. I'm like, I want to give context of what this story is about to the listeners who have no idea what Pillow Talk's about. I'm like, I'll give my premise. Pillow Talk is a short film about a lonely woman who falls in love with her couch after accidentally kissing it to life. Yeah, go see it when I ever eventually release it.
Yeah, it's great. I know you're on the circuit with it now. You're submitting it to the film festivals. But I will say, I think it's smart and gives a richness to the work that you don't try to goof it up. You know, your approach was to treat it like a drama, and that the circumstances are where the humor will come from, because the best comedy is when the actors are really experiencing what's going on and it's real to them.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant way to go about it.
It was a Michael Caine Muppet Christmas. You know, you couldn't, nobody was the talking couch, just the talking couch was the talking couch, and everyone else like fully, I think, but that's also a lot of sketch writing for me, is like you set up a crazy premise and then you play it just as if that premise wasn't there. I think Simon Rich writes a lot like that, he's one of my favorite writers.
He's great.
He was a monologue writer for SNL, and freaking love the way he had one that was about two pirates. It was like, he's a lot of short stories, which are great. And he has one about two pirates who are just like raising a baby and are having like parent talks with each other, but through the like lens of pirate speak. And it's so funny. And I'm like, that's how I love writing sketches as well, is like treating things really, really normally. But it's like a crazy premise. I remember I was like sad because I think one of my sketches, I think I got rejected from something and I was bummed about it. But it was about, I don't know if you've ever tried to like sign up for a gym, or actually, I feel like if you've ever tried to just use that one-time pass, like a 1-day pass, and then they spend the whole day just like hounding you to sign up for a membership. Yeah. So I wrote a sketch, and it was about a bunch of people who, first of all, like teleport to I was watching too much Rick and Morty. They like teleport to a new world, and they're gonna go get pizza. They want to go to this, it was called like Pizza Bros. And they're gonna go to Pizza Bros to get pizza, and they walk in and it's a gym that's owned by pizzas that are life-size pizzas of different shapes and sizes. And, you know, because like a pizza's like that perfect, you know, like a lot of guys are always going for this like chip look.
Upside down triangle. Yeah,
exactly. And so this pizza comes out who's just like so psyched, and he's like, "What's up? So glad you came in today. Like, what can we get you set up with? Like, are you looking for a 1-day pass? Like, it's a freebie, but you know, we can also set you up with a week, you know." And they're just like, they go right into the spiel, and the people are just like trying to figure out how to like back out of whatever this guy's trying to sell them, and also like explain what they are doing there, which is to go eat pizza. And then they're like, the vibes shift, and they're like, "Yo, excuse me." And it ends with them all getting killed by pizzas and getting drowned in a deep dish. And I thought that was pretty great, but it did not make it. It's crazy. But I'm like, that's our
where did it not make it?
I think I applied for like a sketch night or something like that. Or like, I tried to put it in as a sketch for when I was on circuit. And I was like, I think this should be one of our sketches. And they were like, "No, that's not gonna go." And I was like, "It's very funny. I like it."
The drowned in a deep dish is funny.
I feel like that would play really well on SNL right now if they had a bunch of people dressed up as pizzas, and like, then you get all the pizza jokes. You get about like jokes about them being like really friendly, but then like switching, and then like this like family vibe of taking care of, you know, the pizzas taking care of each other. And anyways, I don't know why I started talking about that. Basically, like, I just like love playing it very real.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're like,
well, that's what grounds it and makes it kind of live somewhere. Like, if it's like, so many times when people don't take it seriously, that's generally not the right way to phrase it, because people, they hate the idea of being serious or earnest. But grounding something in what feels real and playing it authentically
Yeah.
works better than when people are very surface level because they're like, oh, it's a comedy. I don't have to have real emotion in this. But the lack of real emotion is what takes me out of everything.
I feel like when I'm like when I'm on stage, when I'm doing improv, yeah, maybe it's a crazy story,
Mhm.
but I always try to play as true to the character as possible. Like I hate
Yeah.
breaking on stage. I'm always so mad when I break. I'm not like that mad, but I don't like to break on stage.
Which is hard when you're playing with people like Andy Roberts.
Yeah. He makes me break a lot. Yeah, he also was like on when he was on set because he played the couch
He
in
was the
my
couch, yeah.
movie. And you never see him except for like 2 moments you see photographs of him. But he was such a good, he he pretended to be a diva on set and I couldn't get enough of it. I was really, really stressed. It was a lot. It was a lot on my shoulders. It was
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
it was a lot to do over 3 days. And he would just, he just played up being a diva on set and it would make me crack up so hard. So
That was
he's
good.
great. Yeah. But when we're on stage, I feel like a lot of people on Dreamboat for sure, like all of us are playing like very true to those characters. I've cried on stage playing like characters. I don't know. It could have been just like someone like losing their giraffe or something, but I'll like still try to be really true to it because I find that to be the funniest. Like if I'm
Yeah.
watching improv and somebody's really taking their character seriously, I'm like so in. I'm so in. I'm so
Hmm.
like engaged.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the way to go about it because
Yeah.
like we are saying, it's like authentic and real. And that is more engrossing to me as an audience member.
Yeah.
What kind of stuff did you grow up on? Like what sort of movies and shows did you watch that sort of informed this opinion?
Oh, I mean, I did watch a lot of SNL, even though I watched it when everyone was like breaking character, which is like the Will Ferrell years, the best years. You know, things like I don't know why it's popping into my head, but like Wayne's World,
Yeah.
which is like so ridiculous, but at the same time, like those characters are taking themselves really seriously.
Hmm.
What else did I watch a lot of? I don't know. I was like such a basic, I don't know, teen. I was like Dawson's Creek and I'm like trying to think of the comedy stuff. My brothers and I would watch a lot of Billy Madison, but that doesn't feel like the same world of
That
taking
I,
things like,
yeah, I enjoy Billy Madison, but yeah.
yeah, but that's definitely very campy,
Yeah.
you know? But it's kind of like what is it? Best in Show? Like those kind of characters
Yes.
who took
Yeah.
themselves really, really seriously, but were
Hmm.
playing crazy characters.
Yeah. They're saying
Um,
absolutely absurd things. They want absurd things. The way they try to
yeah,
get those things is absurd, but
I
the
like,
characters never feel two-dimensional.
no, yeah. And they don't feel like, even though they have a documentary crew on them, they're not like embarrassed about who they are,
Right.
like in the lens of the world, I guess. But I love, I love Jennifer Coolidge when she's like married to this old man. She's like, we have lots in common. He likes soup. We both like soup. And like that's the end of her list. Like
It's like
there's a
the
lot
sort
of
of
good
thing
ones
that
there.
Cole Escola excels at. It's that kind of subtle humor. Where it's like this
Oh
unique
my
thing
God.
that they're pulling out of something and I don't know
Yeah,
how they do it. Cole
Cole, whenever I've seen Cole perform, yeah, Amy Sedaris also great to
yes.
watch. Like take a character really, really, really seriously, like Strangers with
Hmm.
Candy
Oh yeah.
and all of those TV shows. Like, yeah, watching Cole do one where I feel like they put on a wig and they are that person. And then, yeah, like I guess I know I'm trying to think of like the campy versions of things versus the
The
take
things
it
that made you,
serious,
yeah. Well, one thing
dramatic
that's
comedies.
I think a lot of the stuff I grew up on was an era of even if it was a goofy comedy, people were taking it seriously enough that they were
Hmm.
like actually had heart to their character and like motivation that mattered to their character and they played to that.
What's some of the ones that are popping up for you that are like that?
Well, sitcoms like Cheers or Frasier, like the James Burrows stuff. I mean, he directed his actors to be, he got really good actors and he got them to do good work. And he directed those two shows. And even like Teen Wolf, like
Mm.
my brother and I years ago now, but I got the like dual disc of Teen Wolf and Teen Wolf 2 as a joke because we saw both of those movies in the theater and grew up to be like, oh, those movies are so stupid.
Wait, the
Even
Michael J. Fox
Yeah,
movie or the
Michael J.
TV
Fox,
show? Oh,
the
okay, okay.
movie, yeah, and
Yeah, I was like, oh, the TV show. Hey.
there was a TV show or it was a cartoon, and we watched that, but
Mm-hmm.
the movie, we were just sort of like, oh, what a goofy thing. And even Michael
Yeah.
J. Fox makes fun of it. And so when we watched the movie, we watched it to laugh at it, but
Mm-mm.
then noticed how like the great work that Michael J. Fox did in that movie, despite it being such a silly character. And like my favorite movie of all time is Real Genius. And Val Kilmer is a great actor and he's great in that movie, and William Atherton is a great actor and he's great in that movie. Everyone in that movie is really solid and
Mm.
plays their characters real, and it's because the director Martha Coolidge didn't want to do these like madcap goofy 80s movies like originally was presented to her. She was like, no, I want to rewrite because this isn't what I want to do, and she made a movie that had characters that felt real.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that movie so much because as funny as the movie is, it feels like these people are really living their life. And that's
Yeah.
always been the kind of acting that inspired me. When I act, I want it to look like it's a real person in some other dimension and we all just are getting a peek into it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a movie now that's like the opposite, where it is like crazy, like silly acting. And I'm like coming up blank.
Yeah,
I
because
was
even
like,
the like Billy Madison or Happy Madison movies aren't. I mean, some of them, that the ones that people
well,
don't like can get that way, but
he does play like kind of like, but I'm also like, that's that guy being
yeah,
silly.
right.
I was like, maybe Airplane, but in Airplane, for sure, they're playing it so stoic.
That's part
But
of
what
it.
they're
Yeah,
saying is crazy.
yeah,
I the person that I like admire immensely is Edgar Wright, and I love his movies. I think they're so funny.
yeah.
I feel like he's a comedian as an editor, but also
Mhm,
he makes his characters so funny by like the way he shoots,
mhm.
in the way that he'll have these like quick looks at people,
Yeah,
or
Shaun of the
yeah,
Dead is
oh,
three-dimensional characters, great performances, such a funny movie. I love
so
that movie. It's one of my favorite
same.
horror
That
movies.
and yeah, Hot Fuzz. I'm really excited for The Running Man. I'm like reading the book right
I
now,
was
and
just
it's
about to
so good.
ask you if you're excited about that. It looks great.
Yeah, so
Glenn Powell
excited.
in an Edgar Wright movie. This seems like a good combo.
I know. Do you know that Stephen King wrote Running Man?
Yeah.
Yeah, under his pen name.
Oh, I've been hearing about it lately just as something Stephen King wrote, but I didn't realize he wrote it under a pen name.
Yeah, well, it's not a mystery and it's not like a scary book. It's
Right.
it's like a straight thriller, which I actually was just in Barnes& and Noble looking for it,
Hmm.
even though I got it from the library. And I was like, where? I'm looking in the fiction section. Where's Stephen King's The Running Man? Not, and it's nowhere. And then I like went to like mysteries and it was like mystery horror. And I'm like, okay. And they just stuck all of Stephen King together, whether it was literally next to it is like The Green Mile. And I'm like, this isn't a mystery horror. Like, this is just a general drama that he wrote as well. But they were like, he just exists in that zone. That's it. We're not going to separate him out.
Interesting.
It's a really
Oh,
good story.
yeah, great. I think it's going to be great. I hope it does well. It'd be good for cinema.
I just got an AMC A-list pass. So
Really?
now your girl's going to be watching lots of movies. You get 4 movies free a week.
Really?
The cost of it, with if you watch 2 movies a month, you've already paid for it.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Okay. That's the new thing. That's the new thing to check out.
it's so
Um,
good.
all right. I hadn't heard of this A-list thing.
The AMC, it's like the AMC pass, but it's just, yeah.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right, y'all. You heard it here first. Tina
They've had it for
Detchon.
like 10 years.
I know. I'm just. I figured something that's been around for a while, but you're hearing it here first, everyone. Tina Detchon, breaking news.
Turns out there's something called toilet paper. We're hearing it's a great one to use.
Okay, so we are getting towards the end of the episode. I want to talk a little bit more about your projects like Pillow Talk and how you got into that. And I mean, you wrote and directed this, you have written other things that
Yeah.
got made in a short film. So, what made you want to start doing that?
I have wanted to direct and act like my whole life. I think that's always been something that's been top of list. And I've worked on a lot of TV and film sets, and it's really hard to get those spots. It's really hard to be hired to be the director or the actor. And I wrote this script kind of out of like, and I was sort of improving with myself. I made like an at home, like the Architecture Digest does these like you explore these like rich people's houses. And I kind of did a mix of like Architecture Digest / like Vogue Get Ready With Me video. And it was me doing absolutely nothing in my home. And I thought that was really funny. And
Mhm.
I made my couch my boyfriend. I like just stuck eyes on it and I was like talking about it as if it was like my boyfriend. And I think that might have been like the moment that I sort of like thought about like, wow, could you like really date a couch? Like, wouldn't a couch be a really good boyfriend? And I started writing this. I was supposed to be a feature. And then I ended up just like cutting it down to being a short. And a lot of it was basically my own like pain from a big breakup that I had many, many years ago.
Mm.
And some of the sort of crummy things that happened from it. And I really feel like the best way through some of those really tough times is art of whatever kind of art you want to use. And for me, it's always like, yeah, taking a serious thing and putting it in laughing at it. And yeah, these characters came out and I just kept on playing around with them. It took me about like 5 years to finally get it together to film it. And I do weekly walks or like monthly walks with one of my close friends from college who's also a filmmaker. And I'd been talking about Pillow Talk, and he started talking about an idea he had, wrote a script, got it filmed in like 8 months, I swear. And I was like, oh my shit, like I can't go on walks with him if I don't at least like I'm gonna be so ashamed if I don't have like even the beginning steps of a production plan in set in motion. And I just like used my own shame to basically push myself. And I don't know, I had always felt like I had really bad follow through because I was like, I don't know, it's hard to make a short film and I don't really have the money, and you like make all these excuses.
Mhm.
And at the same time, parallel life, I was also like starting to run longer and longer distances. I was running a half marathon, and
Mhm.
I did this whole plan on an Excel sheet of like how much I would run. And I realized I was like so good at the discipline of running.
Mm.
And I was like, well, why don't I just do this at filmmaking? And so I picked a random date far enough in the future, and I just backtracked all the steps that I would have to take in order to get to being in a film festival. And I was like, great, you have to apply. Great. Before that, you have to like have the sound and color mix perfect. And then before that, you have to like, locked picture. And then it's basically like every single step backwards. And then was like, you know, what is the first thing I have to do? And I think I like solidified my script, and then I gave it to an AD that I knew, and they set a schedule, and then it just like moved into motion. And
Wow.
yeah, so it was like a combination of shame and also just like feeling like these characters were sitting on my shoulders, like screaming in my brain, being like, when are you going to let us live? When are you going to let us live? And if
Oh,
we
wow.
don't get to live with you, we're going to live with someone else. And I'd already seen commercials pop up where people go down into couches,
Yeah.
talking couches. And I was just like, oh my God, it's happening. Like it's in the
Yeah.
zeitgeist. I have to start
Yeah.
moving on this.
I
And
got a thing like that too. Yeah.
yeah, it'll shake you awake once you see like the semblance of an idea you had on TV and you're like, oh.
Yeah. No, there's a movie coming out. And it's like, okay, it's not exactly what I want to do, and it's far enough away. but I've got to get my thing out that I've been thinking about for decades, that like, I don't know how to do it. But I do have a question. How
Yeah.
did you find out what the process was? Like you said, you looked to see what it took to get into a film festival, and then you went back. Where did you find that information from?
Well, so I went to film school. I went to school for
That's
film.
correct. Yeah, you went to in
Syracuse.
Dublin. Oh, you studied acting in Dublin.
I studied acting in Dublin. Yeah. So I studied film in Syracuse. I had been making films and like music videos as like a kid in high school. And then I went to Syracuse and I studied like film production there. And then, all my experience working in LA was also just like, yeah, watching a film from start to finish and knowing the sort of like protocols of set and sort of like what are the expectations of each person on set too, and like what they need to thrive. And so I already had those things in mind. Like it all comes from the script. It all has to start from the script. And everyone will pick apart that script to a point like that I didn't even know until I was like on set, realizing like I had not always numbered my scenes perfectly. And they were like, what are we calling this? I had my assistant director who was just like, we have to get this tighter. Like it has to be, it just changes everything. It changes your schedule if you don't have like your scene numbers correct and all this stuff. So I had already had many years of being on sets and then also being parts of other people's film productions, watching it go through. And I mean, I was on my friend Eugene's film that he was the one I walk with. And, I watched him from start to finish and used the same sound mixer as him and our sound like mix studio. And so I'd already I've already sort of, you already know the steps to put a movie of a short film onto Instagram. And it's not very far off of that.
Okay.
As long as you like know who is going to help you for the parts you don't know about. So like I did hire a producer, even though I did not want to produce it. But yeah, but like having an assistant director, an AD, a first AD is a really great anchor person. And then and then I also had a DP that I connected with. But honestly, it was from years of just doing it with friends and then being on professional sets and knowing those processes. But they're not complicated. I mean, I could show you the list that I wrote. It's probably like 15 to 20 steps, but
yeah,
some of them are just like cast.
Gotcha.
Find your cast. Yeah.
That's very cool. Okay. That gives a lot of people a lot to think about and also get us into the create something together stage of the episode as we're winding down now. So there are plenty of books people can read or classes they can take on how to write a screenplay. You lay out this process of how you went into getting these things made. But one thing you said was that you applied your stick-to-itiveness with running to this. It's interesting how like multifaceted people can be, right? Where there's one thing that maybe they struggle with and then another thing that they are like on point with. And it's like, well, that means you have the capacity to do this other area. And it's like, well, why? Where's the disconnect? So you sort of figured out how to meld the two so that you use the skills that you knew you had to get something else accomplished that you were like, there was like some sort of stall on. So I want to kind of break down how somebody can do that for themselves. Like what process did you go through to realize you could then take those skills and apply them to a different thing in your life?
Yeah, I think it's like recognizing where you have control and where you don't have control. Like, I think that running is a really great sport because it's a solo sport. So I never have to rely on anyone if I just want to go for a run. And I did, I got a little piece of help from Rick Andrews, who's an amazing improv coach and also run coach.
Crazy fast too.
He is. Yeah. And so he has built my marathon and half marathon schedules before. And then I've kind of sometimes just copied, pasted them and sort of adjusted them, to taste. So, a lot of my lack of confidence that I had with like trying to become a director, trying to be an actor, they're both worlds where it feels like someone else has to come in and choose you. And it's true, because a lot of the time someone is coming in as a casting director or, a production company, and they're choosing you. But of course, it's that catch-22 that if you don't have things, like if you don't have a reel, if you don't have experience, they're not going to choose you. So you have to prove it to them. So you then have to like figure out how to do the thing before you fully know how to do the thing
Yeah.
and are very good at the thing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'll like applying that skill. I feel like I'm like, it was just, it was, I had told myself that I was not good at follow through
Mm.
and I didn't have discipline. And I think I was on a run one day, like a random Sunday by myself, 7 miles, and I'd woken up and been like, looked at my Excel sheet and was like, today is 7 miles, got it. And then I went out for this run and I was like, oh, okay. So
Actually do have discipline.
that that sentence can't exist anymore.
Right.
It just isn't true. And
Right.
so I was like, oh, maybe I have follow through with running. And I'm like, no, I can make this
You
work
have
in
follow through as a
other.
person. It's not that you
Yeah.
just have follow through in this one area. You have follow through. You have that. That is
Yeah.
a strength of yours. You're just not applying it to this other area because of the lies our mind can tell us sometimes.
Which, like, I didn't have the ability to choose well, I guess I did. I had the ability to choose myself as an actor and a director and to put myself in things. But then, yeah, you have to make things. But it was literally about just figuring out how to make that Excel sheet is what I was like. It was the Excel sheet that really made it make sense. And I was like, oh, it's just backwards planning, which as a teacher, I also was doing. I was like, how do I make this achievable for me? How do I give myself easy successes, which I have done for my students for years. And then I was like, oh, okay, like how do I make this that Tina's going to succeed at this thing? And so how do I break it down so that it's not going to be too much and then I give up? I'm not going out on 10-mile runs on day one.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just sort of like waking up to the thing that was already in front of me. But it was it is a lot of work, but it's a lot of work over a long time. So that feels also nice. But yeah, it was literally just like on a run one day and I thought, oh my God, wait, I can do this. So now I have to figure out how do I do this and like go to the net from half marathon to marathon, I just ran the marathon. So I'm like, okay, it just takes more time, more miles,
But you
more
have it.
tracks. Yeah.
But you have it in you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And friends along the way, honestly, are a huge, the cheers along the way help a lot.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm someone who can, in my mind, a lot of negative self-talk can happen. That happens for a lot of people because of just history in my life. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so that that support from loved ones is huge because there's instances in the past where the degradation from people who are supposed to be supportive, from loved ones who are supposed to be supportive, found its way into wiring my brain to my negative self-talk, right?
Mm.
And so it is huge to have people around you who they're not blowing smoke. They're just seeing in you what is there and they're pointing it out. And maybe it takes a little bit for you to believe it. You can get knocked down easier than you can be built up sometimes, but it's still in you and those people see it. And it can be hard to know who to trust and who to not listen to, but it's in you, and
Yeah.
if you've had accomplishments in one area in your life, then it's in you and you can just apply that to this thing you are trying to tackle now that you've maybe struggled to tackle.
Yeah.
But a lot of it is just changing. It's like information on maybe how to do it, but it's just like changing your perspective on how you look at yourself as you try to do it.
Yeah. And also like letting your actions like reinforce that. Like I kind of think like I do think a lot about writing and I'm not always writing. And then it's like I'm not going to become a good runner if I don't run. And I'm like, I have to remind myself, like, Tina, you just have to go and write stuff. Not every run was great. I just have to keep showing up and like making time for those things. Yeah, like there's like a really good Ira Glass quote I'm sure you've heard of, where he talks about like having really good taste. And when you first start out, you've got really good taste, but you're not very good. So you can tell it's not good.
Yeah.
And he's like, the only way through is just to make a lot of stuff. Just go and make and make and make. And eventually it'll like match up.
Yeah, that's totally it. That's a great quote.
Yeah. Very paraphrased.
Yeah, true. Well, there it is. Thanks so much for being on the podcast, Tina.
Thank you, Jason. That was so fun.
What a great chat. Isn't she lovely? I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. She is a delight. Keep up with what she has going on by following her on Instagram at Freckled4Smiles. That's the number 4. And please keep up with Pillow Talk. That's the film that she most recently directed that I have a part in, a very small part. It's a great movie. Follow them on Instagram at Pillow Talk Film 2024. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at There It Is Pod, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at There It Is, and follow me on Instagram and Threads at Jason Farr Pics. Also subscribe to our comedy lifestyle newsletter and support us if you can. We have a Patreon and a PayPal. Go to thereitispod.com for newsletter and support info. Links in bio. Tune in next week for another great episode. Until next time, be good to each other. It's a moral imperative.
The music for the theme song was created by Neil Brooks. The rap was written and performed by Nick Acevedo. The logo for There It Is was created by Jeff Prater. The There It Is podcast is produced by Jason Farr.